We're just now a couple of weeks away, from Philippine Blockchain Week 2023. So as lead convener, Donald, well, what's been keeping you busy these past couple of days?
A lot, no? So as you know, the organizing group is not we're not very big, no. Initially, when we started this, it just started out of passion. A year ago, when we said we want to do an event, we thought it was very easy. I've been in the marketing and event space for such a long time already, 15 years, from the ad congress and ad summits when you were still a boy. To all the marketing conferences, no. So we thought this is going to be easy. This is going to be just small lang. But what we didn't realize was that, oh, wait, everyone wanted to be in, everyone wanted to say something, and it just ballooned to become a very big event last year. No? So I think this year, second year, we a lot of expectations only because we did very well last year. People were saying that there are so many blockchain weeks around the world. No? Rome, you have Korea blockchain week. Every country has their own blockchain week. Palau is happening, ongoing blockchain week now. So a lot of things have a lot of blockchain weeks around the world, but this is the first time they said, Philippines, if you're not number one, you're top three in the world. That was last year. So the bar was set very, very high for us. The expectations were to bring in, again, a good speakers, a good experience. Most blockchain weeks, they have an event, they have speakers talk. Ours is very different. A lot of networking, a lot of booths, a lot of exchanges. So again, it's a very different, no. And of course, at the same time, right now, as we are on the final stretch of this event, we're trying to get speakers, their flights coming in, sponsors. They have 1 million demands on how they would want to look and their booths and everything. We have to also organize, a lot of government officers are coming in, so everyone has special requests. So a lot of things, no. So too many moving parts actually, and we're trying to address each of their concerns, no. Internationally, we have some delegations coming in, it's kind of a good good experience and good exercise when all of us. This used to be something that we're doing as a passion, and we all have our day jobs, but eventually I think we woke up one day realizing that there's a lot more that we can do, and the Philippine Blockchain Week is something that we can really showcase to the world.
Just quick follow-up there. What do you think was the critical success factors of last year's Blockchain Week? Well, why did it make it such a global success?
uh, a lot of things. We got so many speakers, more than I think 140 speakers, more than half are international. So when they stepped into the Philippines, some the first time they realized, hey, wait, this is we never realized. I think the expectation was too small last year. So when they saw it, they said, okay, this is very, very different. No, and of course, Filipinos, we know how to mount a show, right? So you have all the cultural dancers, you have serious talks, you have not so serious talks, a lot of networking, a massive space in Marriott. So it really blew their minds away. And at the same time, of course, they've always been hearing about this little Axie Infinity country, island, right, in the Pacific, and where is that, right? So I think they're also fascinated by looking at not only the culture but meeting the people here also.
So, Donald, last time I saw you was during the press launch of Blockchain Week a few months ago, and at the press launch, and since then you've claimed the title na of Blockchain Capital of Asia for the Philippines. So, why do you feel that we're uniquely positioned to lead this space?
Well, we've always been a adapter of technology for the longest time. No, we were the, in my time, year 2000, we were the text capital of the world when texting was just very new. We were the social media capital of the world. We were the BPO capital of the world. I think, if anything that has to do with technology, with services, we can really see ourselves really claiming on the top spot. Technology is very innate in us. Same also with servicing, and that's why we were BPO capital. Our spoken English is very much top in the world also. So imagine all of these forces coming together, and we did realize that so many tech experts have started adapting to blockchain. When we look at the adoption of Axie Infinity, no one taught the Filipinos how to play well, but because it was something that's a play to earn. At the same time, it's something that's with the right motivation. The Filipinos, regardless of their economic class, really just jumped in. So if you put all these factors, if you put all these factors together, you realize that uh, it's really brewing already for us to position ourselves. Crypto wallet downloads were top because of Axie. I think if you just tell every Filipino that there is an opportunity to learn in this space, everyone will be there. And that would really make us, we're 110 million population is no joke. We know that a lot of articles are saying we will soon become an economic powerhouse, right? And so it's a matter of really harnessing those 110 million heads into something productive. And blockchain is something we can really own.
110 million people really speaks to one of your main goals, which has been educating the stakeholders involved here, right? So these are not just private sector, public sector, but perhaps even in the education sector, partnering with all of these groups in order to get everyone up to speed on the fundamentals of blockchain, the opportunities that it presents, should these groups embrace the technology. But when we take a step back, take a look at the Web3 space, it's been a bit of a roller coaster in terms of the people's mindsets around blockchain. So what have been the challenges that you faced in that regard these past few years?
Well, challenges wise, there are a lot. No, I think it's like any how do you say it? Anything that starts up has to start in some form of chaos first, right? When digital was starting, when internet was starting, there's what you call there was the internet bubble. Everyone was there. Everyone was saying, "Oh, the next website, the next website is the next gold mine," and everyone just jumped into creating their own websites and selling it in Silicon Valley. That also prompted the rise of Silicon Valley. So what we saw was that uh, Web 2 also, social media, you saw the rise of Friendster and everyone else. And then it became a very murky space. Everyone was just creating fake accounts, right? And then also moving towards a certain level of maturity on social media. You also saw a lot of trolls and everything else. So I think everything you have to take the good and the bad from it. You cannot just say that because there's anything bad from it. You cannot, deny technology moving forward. If we have done that, then from the start, we would have been still riding horses, because cars would be emitting a lot of smoke and would be using a lot of fossil fuels, right? And same now with the essence of Web3, that blockchain is using a lot of energy, so it's not good for the environment. You see so many scammers, but I always say, there are so many scammers because so many what I call wanting to get rich immediately, right? If you follow the base, it's not because of Web3 or blockchain, but it's because it's the same. Whether you have a Ponzi scheme, even before Web3, right? But people said, "Oh, you buy this crypto or you buy this token because immediately you'll earn 1% every day or whatever." Right? So people say, "Okay, it's again Web3 is getting popular. I think it's safe." Right? So it's really more fundamental. It's more human behavior, and that's why the space, you have to let people learn, by by themselves, right? So once they start learning and they said, "Okay, I lost so much money, I will never go to that again," and the next opportunity comes, whether they go or not go, now they'll be cautious. Now they will be learning. So like kids, we have to fall down first, right, before we take our many first steps, right? And that's what is happening with Web3 today.
And part of understanding the opportunities and what they look like is also learning what are too good to be true kind of opportunities as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's about that's the education that we're doing. But we're also educating not just individuals but institutions on how to adopt blockchain. So in the landscape these past few months, if not years, where do you see the most exciting applications for blockchain? In
There are many movements already by many organizations. So I've seen already since last year that a lot of it's starting. So many suppliers, the tech developers are already saying, "Oh, I have this solution. Now it's on the blockchain. Maybe that's something you can consider right now." So I think we've seen organizations trying to leapfrog others. So maybe there are some organizations that have been established, and some younger organizations wants to leapfrog. They're trying to own the blockchain space using non-fungible tokens, or using blockchain technology in itself. Um, when you talk about use cases, not a lot, but we know that the solutions, the um, the benefits of using blockchain will solve a lot of problems. all the way from, for example, from our COMELEC, when we do our national elections, to our personal data, through our land titles, anything that has to do with documentation, so supply chain. So you will see a lot of movements. So everything will be happening on that space. In the Philippines, we're very lucky to have very open-minded regulators who saw that, we're not here to clamp down on blockchain because it's decentralized, but more so the principle of decentralization of blockchain is all about ensuring that everything is more secure, more trustworthy, because it, rather than a central authority, it is now being validated by peers in the network. So I think companies will benefit from it. No, it's just not that easy now. Okay, everything in my organization is doing very well. Why should I change technology to a blockchain? And that's okay. That's okay. Same also with technology before, right? If you are still getting from point A to point B, that's still okay. But eventually you will see that more and more will be getting there faster and more efficiently. And then you go there once you feel that you are ready. Bad but very easy example, no bad example was that going to social media. When I was in very new in that space, 2010, 2011, I was presenting to I was in an ad agency that time. I was presenting to so many companies, even to media networks, media organizations. You need to be on Facebook, right? And I'm like, people are looking at me, you're so weird. Why would you do that? Everything is okay. Why should we be on Facebook? We have a print, we have a radio, we have our website. Why do we need to go? Okay, we go to Facebook, we maybe post a bit, but that's it. But not as a business model. It was only maybe in 2016, 17, 18 when we were learning so much already. Oh, okay, you can earn, right? Where YouTube stars are coming in. Now TikTok is now the big thing, right? But because technology is going to move ahead, regardless of when human will be ready. And there are opportunities for those who will take advantage and who will take the first steps, right, towards maximizing that. So there will be a lot of use cases that can happen. Anything that has to do with documentation, anything that has to do with marketing. When we talk about NFT, you can also utilize trading. Well, you can utilize cryptocurrency. So I wouldn't be surprised like a year or two from now, kung before you have options now because of the pandemic, all options, credit card and whatever, now Maya and Gcash, right? So I wouldn't be surprised that 2 years from now you also have crypto, right? You have Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. So the technology will push everyone to go into that space.
I remember a few years ago, I was talking to the marketing team, well, the social media team of the company I was in, and I was saying, guys, I think there's something here to this TikTok,
Mm.
this TikTok platform. We should probably start putting out a content on TikTok. And they're like, what are you gonna do? Dance on TikTok?
Yeah.
Right? And so there's a lot of
Yep.
skepticism
Yep.
there, but then look, now it's probably one of the biggest economic powerhouses right out
True.
there in
True.
terms of platforms. So I think you're right, and this speaks as well to the kind of people that you've gathered to the table. These are people who can see opportunities before they rise.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a bit about the Blockchain Council for a moment, the Blockchain Council of the Philippines, where you've really brought together stakeholders from across public and private sectors with initiatives to build up our nation's competencies in blockchain, in AI, and the like. So could you tell me more about the players that you've gathered at the table here and what role you see this group playing in the larger Web3 ecosystem?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you already. In the first 6 months that we gathered the council, we have met with severe criticism because the Web3 is very decentralized, and technically, creation of a council makes it centralized,
Right.
right? So therefore, what is your role? If it is decentralized, and if you really believe in Web3 and its power to the people, why are you forming yourselves? And you have to explain it in such a way that for Web3 to move forward, right, you have to get yourselves organized because it cannot be wild west. If no one organizes themselves, if no one puts everything in proper order, because you still live in a society where order is still expected, right? So if you push it to the level where it's really wild west, then the last thing government will do is they will now step in and they will create the rules, and no one can get away from that. The government will set the rules because you live in a society that is governed by rules, right? Unless you go to an island, like 10 of you, and you create your own rules, or you said no rules here, right? But you're living in a society, so there has to be certain rules. And the reason why the Blockchain Council was created was to be working with all the stakeholders, including government. If you think something is wrong, tell us. We'll try to find the answer for you, rather than creating or imposing a rule already because someone was hurt. Right? We're working with different stakeholders in a way, like the developers, the companies, the individuals. So now that if they have any concern on Web3, on blockchain, then at the very least, there's someone out there. You'd be surprised when you go to social media. So many posting, oh, I got scammed or I got this. Right? So we're not there to police, right? But at the very least, we will be able to point them to the right people. We're not here to say, we told you so. It's not. Oh, you did something, fine. You can always check with the DTI, or if we feel that, for example, someone launched something that's very dubious and it's like already a Ponzi scheme, we also alert SEC. When we alert SEC, we don't say SEC, it's this is dubious or whatever. We said, there is reason to believe. Please check it out. We just point it out. We never recommend in a way, right? But at least we're calling it to their attention because they have a million things also that they're working on, right? So we're also looking at a lot of blockchain education. So in the Blockchain Week, we will be launching certain educational programs. We're working also with various companies who are into that space, no? All the way, because blockchain is massive. The tech side, the trading, and the crypto side. And then you will also see also others who are on the marketing side, the non-fungible tokens, tokenizing their assets, their artworks, even selling tokens itself so that they would be able to raise funds for a very legitimate business. So I think that's the role of the council. When we gather them, they would say, these are all Web2 people trying to be Web3. And I said, yeah, we are Web2 people who saw Web3 as a new technology. And for Web3 to be successful, Web2 has to be there. Right? So there's no delineation. If people see hardcore Web3 people, they saw a delineation. They see, oh, we're Web3, we're very tech, you don't understand us. Right? And that's why I always counter that, where we're trying to understand you. That's where we're going into that space. And once we understand, we can really rule the world, no, as a one Philippines. So why are you resisting, right? And that's why if you look at the council members, we have developers, we have legal person, we have some people from the FinTech Alliance, from the banks, we have business people. So it's really a hodgepodge of those who really care about the space, who share the same vision, who knows how to run. And I think when I started the Blockchain Council, I'm the least knowledgeable of blockchain that time, right? So we gathered because they all, in their specific expertise, believe in blockchain. So now we're trying to put everything together. So we have monthly meetings. We're very serious. We have our SEC papers down pat. We have a BIR. We're everything is complete because we're very Web 2. Well, we're very not even Web 2. We're very Web 1. Everything is by the book, and therefore that is why when when Blockchain Council is working on PBW, we said, okay, government, can you help us? They're here. They're here to support everyone, right? Because they feel that we are the trusted authority, not authority, but at least a trusted body that they can ask on, no? And we're going to make this very democratic in a way. So I feel that maybe the council, we're just organizing. Once everything is fully organized, we'll also open it up. We'll now have an election. Hopefully I don't get to be president every year, right? And I won't, right? So I have other more important things to do. But we want people to make it continue, to continue the legacy and continue the vision, not only by us, right? But once they share it, they can be part of it.
So a few years ago, I was moderating a panel with Attorney Mai Belhica, the Anti-Red Tape Authority, and I was asking him about what's the government stance on innovation, because this is really what we're talking about here, no? And this is like where the crux of the challenge really is. And he said that there is a balancing act, because of course the government needs to innovate because society is innovating, and the whole purpose of the government is to service society. But at the same time, the government, because of its responsibilities, cannot move at the same pace as innovation. It needs to be intentionally deliberate in its movement.
Well said. Yeah.
And I thought that was a really great perspective to take. And so there does need to be some sort of entity, like in this case, the Blockchain Council, that can code switch, that can do the translating work between these kind of two mindsets, these two paradigms. I totally see where you're coming from. Now, in the formulation of this community, like you said, it's a hodgepodge of different expertises, people from different fields. In this ecosystem that you've put together, where do you see any gaps, or opportunities for more types of players to come in?
Well, definitely. I would think so. I think this space is going to be very massive. It is almost impossible to have every. It's not like you have Congress where every part of the country is represented. Here, I think what is more important, because we're the organizing group, is that we have to have like-minded people first, and we all have one thing in common. We want to push the industry forward. We want to push blockchain adoption. Some are, academically they know blockchain. Some have their technologies, but you will see in any of our meetings, we never talked about our business. We talked about the industry. We talk about protecting the industry. We talk about growing the industry. So I think for us, even when we set this up, it's really like-minded people who share the same values and principles and vision, right? And I think that would happen maybe in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then I think later on, as it becomes more mature, as the technology also matures, I think it would also grow. I think the blockchain council will also grow. Today we have a 15-man board, man/woman board, but later on we don't even know if it will become more or less. Doesn't matter. But the intent is to be a partner with with the community, with every stakeholder in the system.
Speaking of community, you mentioned that you received some criticism from, let's say, you mentioned that the hardcore Web3 community. So, in your vision for the Philippines as the blockchain capital of Asia, I imagine a lot of that is rooted in the early success of these grassroots communities in mobilizing the Philippines towards adopting Axie Infinity, adopting crypto wallets, which led to the birth of all of these players. So, what role do you see these smaller grassroots communities in the Web3 space playing in this vision for Philippines as blockchain capital of Asia?
We aim to be their enabler. We hope that they continue push forward. It's not easy, among you go blockchain, you tell people you're blockchain developer, and just sexy, right? Or AI, because it's something very new. But the nuts and bolts of it, working on it and looking for funding and sponsors and everything, that's very hard. You'd be lucky to get a real project on, no? So I've seen so many who had that vision, but later on realize, okay, not worth it. Go back to Web2 muna, mas safe, mas steady. The projects are steadier, you more consistent. So it's not easy. So we're there to enable them to make sure that they stay on the path. We're here to also hopefully find them jobs in any of our organizations, as we also prime our organizations to go into blockchain. So we really want to work hand in hand with them. When we set up the blockchain council, we have organization members, but at the same time, we recognize the importance of even individuals. And therefore, we have individual membership also, which is also very, very cheap. So if you want to be here, if you want to be in the blockchain, you want to help people, by all means, join us also. Because there's individual members, some may be just a coder, some can be just an artist or anything. They're doing whatever they're doing. They can help grow that space. They can have their voice be heard. So when we had our 2 months ago a mixer of the blockchain council, anyone is invited. It's just a full room in Asbury. It's just massive full. We're very surprised with people just coming in, trying to get to know one another. You also have VCs, venture capitalists. So I mean, bits and pieces of everyone in the ecosystem, and it's good to gather them from time to time. No, but everyone would have a space in the blockchain council. That's the real intent. So everyone pushes forward with it.
With Philippine Blockchain Week coming up, last year you said a lot of the success, I mean, it's a much larger success than anyone expected. And so a lot of that success maybe was rooted in there was a global standard for what a blockchain gathering looks like, and this just blew that out of the water. But now, like you said, expectations are all much higher as a result. So, can you tell me a bit about the theme for this year? What are you hoping to accomplish with Blockchain Week, Philippine Blockchain Week?
Yeah, last year it was all about it was chain tricks, right? So we follow the mode of matrix, take the red pill or blue pill, and then you just go into the rabbit hole and never come back, right? You have to believe in the Web3 and the blockchain technology and the blockchain revolution. This year we're calling it breakout, right? So breaking out of your misconceptions, breaking out of your old ideas and paradigms. So we're really trying to get people to come out and say, remove your old thinking already, because the entire country, the entire community, the world is breaking out into a new system, especially after COVID. Before COVID, there was not a lot of discussion on blockchain, maybe a few on Bitcoin, and that's it. I think after COVID, it was really a big awakening for all of us. So with that, we have to make sure, that we're towing the line also with what is happening around the world. So our theme is again breakout. We're currently right now at around 80 plus speakers already. I think we'll definitely go over 100. We're flying in a lot of the speakers again. Last year was different for us because again, it was really embraced by the community. A lot of them are with different groups, NFT Philippines, Web3 Philippines. They're in their different Facebook groups. They're in Discord. They're just there, right? So again, that's very Web3. But we say, hey, you can come here. You can also connect because if you need business, you need a job, you need whatever. Hopefully, this is also a venue for you. What is going to make this year different is that the entire basement of the Marriott Grand Ballroom will have a gaming, no? So everything esports is there. We will be launching with a Michael Cinco fashion gala, and so it's a meta fashion gala. We will be ending it with a K-pop K-pop pseudo concert, no, Web3 concert. At the same time, in between the conferences, so you will have 3 days of really nerve-wracking, hardcore conferences. We have special participation by the DTI and the DICT. The government is really coming in, trying to help evolve this space. So it's really all the stakeholders. We feel that last year it was very hard because not too many people know about it. At least we have something to talk about this year. We've showcased that this is something that's exciting. Last weekend I have a speaker who says, can I go back and speak? Last year I flew him in, Siyempre business class, because he was a very good speaker. But as a rule, I always say I don't like to repeat every year. But this year I said, no, I'm flying by myself. Just give me a stage. Right? I really want to be there. Right. So again, we're seeing not only one, but 2, 3, 4, 5 stories about that they really want to be part of this growing community, investing here. Even the Korean groups, right? We're saying, Korea, we cannot move anymore. The too many scams. Imagine Korea, too many scams happening. Government has tightened its noose already on all the setting up of any blockchain company. So maybe we can do Philippines, right? And service Korea. So ang daming there, we can really be a BPO capital if only you know all the opportunities happening out there. And that's why we have AFAB, right? The Freeport of Bataan already aggressively trying to set itself up also, right? To accept all of these companies coming in. So a lot of things happening, a lot of conversations. I mean, this is building up stage. Like the internet, right? Who parang nag-set up ka ng, you set up your IT team in the company when there's none. So who's taking up the servers? Who's going to buy the hardware? What software are we using? So I think we're all there as a country and as an ecosystem, as a community. Everyone trying to say, I'm here, I know this, right? So it's all about putting people in the right places. And I think that's why people ask me, I'm crazy. They always tell me I'm crazy. I'm blockchain capital of Asia. That's impossible. Singapore will always be the blockchain capital of Asia. But I said, I won't even argue with you, but the 110 million population versus 6 million, you do the math. And if we service the entire world, right? And how, because, and again, I'm not getting this from thin air. We were the BPO capital, which means that we can service the world. We were Axie capital, we were a social media capital, which means that we are very tech savvy. And we have the youngest population in Asia at 25 years old. So, I mean, all the numbers point towards that. Those are facts. I'm not making them up. So all numbers point towards making us a blockchain capital. We just have to play our moves right.
Right. And organize, bring the right people to the table, which is exactly the kind of work that you've been doing. As we approach the end of our time here together, I just wanted to ask you, is there any final message that you have in the lead up to Philippine Blockchain Week for the rest of the convening board, the speakers, the individuals that you'd like to bring into the fold?
Yeah, well, of course, definitely, I'd like to invite everyone to be there. It's September 18 to 22. The 3-day conference is 19 to 21. We spare nothing. I mean, everything is what we're preparing for. We started with the ideal. Every time we do planning for the next event, for Blockchain Week 2, we always said, okay, let's do what is the ideal. And we didn't the ideal that we plan for a month leading towards it, that is still the ideal that we're going after. right? So regardless of what's happening, some sponsors, the reality is it's still blockchain winter, right? So not a lot. People have woken up. There's not a lot of like money in the space currently because it's setting up stage, right? Nothing exciting. People will always say, okay, let's wait for next year or next year when everything is a bit more mature. Let's throw in the money, right? But because we have to stay true to our vision, we always say, those who, personally, I really believe those who are first, early bird catches the worm. So in essence, I'm inviting all of you, as long as whether you are in the Web3 ecosystem already, you are a believer in the blockchain movement, or if you're starting and you want to learn from it, this is a very safe space for you. And I'll tell you why. When we did our ribbon cutting last year, we had 30 industry presidents who took the ribbon and cut it all together with the DTI undersecretary, with all the government officers. And when they came in, they said they know nothing. They're zero about blockchain. I think when they left with, not maybe in a scale of 1 to 100, they're at 1. But they're 1. And hopefully by this blockchain week, they're 2 and 3. And hopefully they inch forward. The reality is they will not learn blockchain. I've been trying to learn blockchain since 2017. I do not understand it. And only when after blockchain week, I realized I have to learn blockchain because I will be speaking in behalf of blockchain. That's when I did all the crash courses in Coursera. Now you can quiz me on anything about blockchain. Right? You can quiz me. Okay, it would be a good fight, actually. I'm not saying I'll be perfect, but it will be a good fight on the tech side, on the marketing side, on the business use cases. I can talk very heavily about it already, right? So I hope everyone would come and join us, in one way or the other. If you, whether you want to have a booth, you want to sponsor, or you just want to go there and listen or mingle and feel the crowd. That's what I always tell people who are not there. Go there, feel the crowd. That's it, right? Because you will learn something in one way or the other. And because there's no denying that blockchain will be the technology of the future. Natural progression. Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. It's a natural progression. So we will go there.
Hey, great. Well, Donald, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and best
Thank
of
you.
luck these next few weeks. I'm sure it's going to be hell, but hopefully at the end of it, extremely worth it.
Thank you, Santi. I look forward to seeing you, and I hope you capture a lot of our exciting moments there.
Absolutely.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Donald. Take care.